Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I am building a house in Sunlit Tides. I've never built in this neighborhood before, but I have bought it and I was like, let's just do it. So starting out, we are on a 50 by 50 lot. It is in this isolated area off to itself. I wanted to build in an area that was close to the ocean so they can have like their own private beach, but not too close to everybody else. I wanted it kind of private because I am playing in this house for my current household, and I don't like playing with a lot of neighbors because all they do is just constantly come over. So yeah. So I wanted to build a modern style beach home, and this is 4 stories tall with an inaccessible fourth floor. But you will see what I mean whenever we get there. It's a fake staircase leading up to the top, and I thought it was a cute little attic. The color scheme, I went with white and blue and a light brown. Just everything that reminds you of the beach, honestly. Sand, white, sun, blue water. And I tried to make like a small little conversation pit, as you've seen right there, but spoiler alert, it ends up not working out. So all of this work that I'm doing is for nothing, and I hate playing with terrain tools. So with the fencing around the porch area, I wanted to use this fencing right here. I didn't want it to be like too fancy, but it turns out it doesn't connect to the top floor, and that absolutely drove me crazy. So we decided to use this fence from Roaring Heights. And here I am working on the driveway. I was trying to do this whole blend thing. So I took some sand and I took some gravel and I just kind of try to blend it together to make it look like the sand from the road, or like the light dirt from the road was like coming into the pebble driveway. Yeah, and then I did my favorite trick where I put dirt under the gravel, but I also added some sand for some like sandy texture and everything like that. And of course, going back through and adding some dirt just around the base of the house and the driveway, just to make it look like it actually has texture underneath it. Also, the problem with this Roaring Heights fence is that it doesn't have a matching railing, but it's okay in the end. I think it ends up looking fine. And we use this little thin metal in the back here. Moving on to the pool. I struggle with pools so much, but honestly, I never know a good size to make it, but I feel like this is good enough. It still might be a little bit too big for my liking, but it's fine. It's a huge house, so. Moving on to the landscaping, I use cactus, palm trees, flowers, tiger lilies, and like these small little hostas that I found that I didn't even know that I had. I'm pretty sure it's custom content, but everything that I get is usually downloaded houses from either Mod The Sims or The Sims Resource. So everything custom content wise always comes from there, furniture wise. I also wanted some pops of colors, so besides just the orange, I wanted it colorful. So I used like these blue flowers and the blue or the yellow tulip daffodil things. Moving on to the fencing, I wasn't sure also what I wanted to use. There's so much fencing in this game, but I feel like nothing ever matches what I like, how style house I'm going for. First, I used the brick color, but then I was like, no, there's just so much brick. Like, we need to lighten it up. So I mixed it with the white. It still has the accent of the brown, but it lightening it up just it made me feel so much better and I liked it so much more. The gate, I used that same blue, and then I decided, to connect the pathway right there, and then I just added more landscaping to the front and to the back here. Um, Moving back onto these windows. So I just found these windows because I didn't know it came with sunlit tides. Like I said, I just bought it. So I was like, I really want to use this open window concept, but I don't know if I like that window there. So I changed it to blue. I sat with it for a minute and I was like, no, I don't like it. So I just added these windows in. That's also custom content, made them brown to match the stone. And I was like, okay, this is so much better. And I am the person that, unfortunately, I make the windows look how I think will look good on the outside. And then on the inside, I just build around that. So the windows, they look great from the outside. The windows on the inside, however, they don't probably make a lot of sense, but it's okay. Uh, I can't help it. I'm like it has to look uniform from the outside. Even though I'm playing with it on the inside, I just think it looks so much better, and I feel so much more comfort knowing that it looks good from the outside. So there is a lot of jumping back and forth in this. I'm so sorry, but I get very distracted, and I was like, oh, I'm just gonna go ahead and finish the outside before I stress myself out with the inside because I was trying to put the stairs down and nothing was working how I wanted to. And so I'm just finishing up furnishing. Just I got the Showtime chairs and loungers, and I just painted them this like bluey fabric color and the same wood tone that we've been using this entire time. Um, then I added a little side table. I struggled a lot with what to put on the side table because nothing was snapping to it the way I wanted to. And I struggled with this for a good 5 minutes. I'm not even joking. And then I ended up just taking both of those things off and putting a lemonade drink thing on it. So my struggle was for nothing. And also, as you could see, I don't there's no car parking spots on that because my game was having an issue where it crashed every time I opened the vehicles tab. So I could go on the little like the puzzle piece with the dollar sign on it right there and get the Priuses, but I couldn't actually go to the vehicles tab because it was crashing my game because, spoiler alert, I moved everything over and then it corrupted some of my custom content, so I had some bad CC in there. But I got it all fixed now. Nothing to worry about. But moving back inside, finally, I'm trying to work out this floor plan. I struggled so hard with this floor plan. I wanted to do the sunken conversation pit thing, but it wasn't working. Like, I'm not sure if it was too close to the foundation, but I'm pretty sure I used walls right there, so I'm not sure. Then I started going for this like open concept thing. I was like, okay, I'll put the kitchen here, maybe living room here, dining room there. Then I kind of sat with it a little bit, threw some paint on the wall, started mapping out where I wanted the kitchen to be. started, replacing windows because I was like, oh, I gotta have kitchen counters. And I also hate when it clips through the windows. So I was like, okay, we know where the kitchen is. I don't know where anything else is gonna be. So I was like, let me put the dining table there. And then I extended the living room. And then we're gonna have a bathroom downstairs because I didn't have one. Upstairs, it is 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. And then on the third floor, it's 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom. Everything else came together pretty easy. It was just struggling with that downstairs aspect. And also, you could see where I'm trying to make a floor plan around these windows because, like I said, I like it to look good from the outside and I really don't care about the inside. But it makes it a problem for me whenever I go to actually put walls up because I'm like, oh, I want this to be here because when you're outside, it looks good. So unfortunately, it's a struggle, but we'll get over it. It ended up working out pretty good. So here I am working on the kitchen slash dining room area because it's open concept. I use these blue cabinets with the blue wallpaper and white chairs. And already I was struggling because I was like, this is not exactly what I'm envisioning. I feel like it's so plain, but I just kept going because I was like, okay, rugs, plants, decor. I can make up for it. So I'm putting in china cabinets, I'm putting in plants, I'm looking at the rugs, and I was like, what should I put in these corners? I found these bookshelves from I believe it's World Adventures, and they have little plates on them. And I was like, oh, that is so perfect to put inside the dining room area. And I was also so excited to use those curtains. Like, now that I have adult money, I'm so happy that I bought this because whenever I was a kid watching Lifesimmer play her Generations Let's Play, I wanted those curtains so bad. But I obviously didn't have the money to buy the world to get the curtains. So that just made little me so happy finally being able to afford those curtains with this world. So moving on to this bathroom, it's just a half bath, toilet, sink, and this is where the laundry is. And I'm obsessed with those curtains because they're big enough to hide the windows. And, because you don't, with 4 windows in that bathroom, obviously, because of me trying to make the outside look good, you want big curtains to hide the fact that you go pee there. So, moving on to the living room, this is when my whole life changed. The entire color scheme of this house changed drastically right here. Those curtains just lit a fire in me. Oh my goodness. I was putting them up because that's the default color. So I was going to recolor them to blue or something because I didn't know what else to do. But the orange, I immediately said, I'm not touching that. That's it. That's the color scheme of this house. So I went through and I just added my little decorations in the living room. And then I immediately went straight to the dining room, took all those chairs out, put new ones in, changed the curtains in the kitchen, and I was already obsessed. I was like, yes, that's what we need. We need more color. But I was like, now I feel like I need more orange. So I decided to put a chest table here, and I was also struggling with paintings in this house because the paneling versus the actual drywall is such a drastic difference. Like, the drywall is actually so small that I feel like I can't put any pictures on there because in real life you wouldn't really be able to put anything on there because of the trim. So in my head, that's what I was thinking, and it was driving me crazy. But I ended up putting a brick wall there, paintings, and then the little cute plates. Added a rose that was a burnt orange color. Just added some more decorations to the kitchen. Just a phone, a food processor, and a trash can. And pretty much the downstairs is done. Moving upstairs, I painted the walls that same color and I was gonna make this entire landing like an office space because the sim I was making this for is a writer. So I was like, okay, she's gonna have this huge, cozy landing area with plants and bookshelves and a nice little, like, I just love that little corner. I would honestly live in that corner if I had that in my house. It is so cozy looking. Like, I'm actually obsessed with it. I added a foosball table, an easel, and then just some minor decorations, some pictures. Moving on to the bedroom. This is the last room of the house that I've decorated. I made it basic, pink and just so girly because I love that bed. It's just a little princess bed, and they're just girls, and it's pink and it's beautiful and I love it. And you know, adding in a little lamp, and that's all. So enjoy the screenshots, and I'll see you soon.